How many of you are utilizing QR codes now in your business? Okay. Tricia, how are you doing that? And what do you have posted at the tasting room? Good. Ida.
Virtual assistant. Anyway, they put on the QR codes on the so that people didn't have to collect and hassle with the business card. They just took our information and had our email address, phone number, everything.
Good. Shelby. Great idea. Greg has a fresh batch of business cards that are waiting out the lobby with a QR code on the back. Nanette?
Our salesman for our label company, his business card has a QR code on it, and it's a card. So you can put it on your phone, and all of his information is in your phone.
Like a contact card, yeah. Bob Gelman. D, are you? Yeah.
D. Baldwin, Black Oak Casino. We use the QR code two different places. We obviously use it for our website. We use it all on our ads that we do in any newspaper. The only thing that we found out about it is if you're like the casino, we like to be flashy, which means we do have a lot of flash on our website. So you have to be really careful about using the QR code with obviously the smartphones or direct them to your website because the flash has a hard time on any phone, so we're actually having Motherlode Internet kind of renegotiate our website for that. The second place we use the QR code is for our what we call the Pearl site. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with the Pearl. You probably have gotten some kind of mail piece. It's called a personal URL. So that takes you to a page that says, Darrell, we have offers for you. Let's get some information from you. We collect email addresses. What we found when we started using the Pearl is that people had a hard time typing in the very long address, the URL address. The QR code helped us kind of get over that hump. So now we have the QR code where they directly go to their personal website. If they choose to use that media, we have about 3 different ways how we can get our guests to go to their personal website, but one of the ways we use it is the QR code. So if people are familiar with it, obviously we do have a learning curve there sometimes, but yeah, so we use it those 2 different ways for now.
Making you work out. You gotta rush back and forth. Can I come back to you right after that?
I'm Richard Call, and I'm working with a group that's promoting a art show based on video games called Gold Cartridge Video Game Art in the Motherlode. You can find it on Facebook. But I developed some hang tags for the art that hasn't come in. It's not up yet. The art show starts next month, June 10th. But the hang tag has a QR code that you can scan, and you'll reach a page where there's information about the artist and a button to share the art on Facebook so you can promote the show to your friends and promote art pieces to your friends.
Very good. Nanette, yep. Nanette back there? Yep.
Alan Croft from Mutineer Magazine, editor of this magazine right here. On the first page as you open the magazine, he uses QR code technology, and it says wine, country, casual, mutineer. And then he gives two definitions of what that means. And then when you scan it with your smartphone, it goes to the CVB Visitors Bureau website. So that's one very cool way of using QR codes. And then something that we do at Tanner Vineyards Winery, we have this will be our first launch of using QR codes with our bottles for a wedding. We have a wedding party that's going to be serving our wines, and on the bottles they'll have QR codes that have a video of them on the wine bottles that thanks everyone for coming to their wedding. They'll be that's going to be our first use of a QR code for a commercial purpose. So there's all different things you can do with those.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you very much. So I'd like to share my story with you because hopefully it will resonate with some of you. There have been some nice things said about me today in my helping other people. There's a specific reason for why I've been trying to help people. It's because I was a people. Just a very few years ago. My son signed me up for a LinkedIn page probably about 4 years ago, and I totally shrugged it off. I really had no interest in it. Some of you may recognize some of this. I thought it was time-consuming nonsense, and I didn't have time for that kind of stuff. About a year later, I attended a conference. A gentleman came up out of Folsom who presented at camps. It was Kim Flagg, and I can't remember if Jeff Stein may have helped put it on, but a gentleman gave a presentation on the viral nature of social media, and he told a couple of stories. You may have heard the stories. One of them was the United Airlines guitar story. How many of you have heard that? Okay, it's a great story about an individual traveling with United Airlines who they lost his guitar, and for whatever reason they told him they could not replace his guitar. They're thinking, meaning United, they're thinking old school. Yeah, he's going to tell some family and friends, what harm can it do? That's not what he did. I wrote a song about it. No, he wrote a song about it. He posted it on YouTube, and at last count, it's been viewed over 3 million times. It's done way more damage than replacing several guitars would have done for United. Here's the interesting part. This happened at the same time as the United marketing people were rolling out a Twitter campaign, right? We're hip, we're cool, we're with you, right? Only the marketing people apparently weren't communicating to the customer service people. That made an impression on me. The other one was, for you gamers out there, there's a big gaming company called EA Sports. And EA Sports has a Tiger Woods golf game. And apparently, this one particular game, there was a section in it where Tiger could walk out on the water and hit the ball. They were receiving some flack online that the game had a glitch in it. So they brought their best and brightest into a room, and they came up with an idea. They went out and they hired Tiger Woods, and they filmed a commercial of Tiger walking out on the water and hitting a ball with the voiceover saying, "It's not a glitch. He's just that good." Right? And this was all done via the internet, and they totally overcame that negative publicity and turned it into a positive. The last one that made a big impression on me, and I shared this with some of my teammates at lunch today, is Steve Markle sent me a video of a gentleman by the name of Rob Katz, who is the CEO of Vail Resorts. You know, they own about 9 ski resorts. And it was a 9-minute video, and he was explaining to an audience how they came about making the corporate decision to move the bulk of their advertising revenue away from traditional media, publications like Powder Magazine and Skier, etc., and move it to social media. Their logic was, and this is sound, I understand it, he said they were running into problems where in the midst of the season, on a Tuesday, they would be down on bookings for the weekend. They needed to do something to spike bookings that weekend. These print publications, why they're beautiful, I'm sure you've all seen them. They're gorgeous magazine layouts. They take up to 5 months to plan. He said they couldn't afford that luxury anymore, so they moved it away. So I'm listening to this video, and I'm thinking, I'm not going into the magazine business anytime soon. And more importantly, that plus that presentation that I saw at camps brought home to me that there's a fundamental shift taking place in the way people acquire information, process it, and make buying decisions. And I need to get on board somehow. So I kind of threw myself into it. I didn't really know exactly what I was going to do. I just made the decision that I needed to do it. And from there, I've jumped in and gotten proficient, somewhat proficient in some areas. Greg gives me a hard time because I'm still not up to speed on Twitter. I'm reluctant for the same reasons. You know, I see it as an entertainment, as a way to follow your favorite celebrity, etc. Why? How does that qualify me to teach seminars? It's because I'm not that far removed, and I understand the frustration, the reluctance to engage, to get in, and the kind of things that you need to know when you're just starting up with your presence. There are a lot of tactics, right? There are a lot of things that you have to do. Here's the thing, though, for any of you that are hung up on that, it's really time. You can go to YouTube and Google, and you can find a tutorial, a video tutorial that'll show you how to do pretty much anything on social media. Right? I mean, really well done. Walk you through the steps, show you screenshots, all those kind of things, right? And you're all bright enough to do it. The problem is the time. So here's why the seminars are successful, somewhat successful, whatever you want to say. It's because I get people for an hour. And for that hour, they're focused on it, right? And they're going to come away with things. That's just the way it is. Because they're forced to spend that amount of time on a particular subject, they benefit from it. So what's the message to take away from that? If you want or need to become more proficient, you're going to have to find a way to spend the time. And I applaud all of you for being here today. I think this is a big step. I think the way we acquire information, going back to the story about the book and the newspaper things, there's book learning, there's specifically obtaining information from an academic standpoint, and then there's learning it from rote. I mean, when my kids were struggling in school with certain subjects, and they could recite the lyrics to any song. I mean, you name a song, they knew specifically the lyrics, right? I'm going, so you can learn. You do have the ability to formulate and retain information. It's just maybe your math professor is not quite the salesman that Justin Timberlake is, but the bottom line is you can see. So my point is, somewhere in there is a forum, and so perhaps these seminars work for you, maybe not. But one of the things we also wanted to achieve by putting forth the conference today was maybe having some of the people from companies that aren't directly involved in the social media campaigns, but they're managing people who are. Because someone said earlier, talking about return on investment, that you can spend a significant amount of time in these areas, and you can't necessarily hang a dollar amount on what you've obtained. You know what the return is on that. But I think by attending seminars like this, hearing the success stories of people who are doing it, who have faith, who continue to do it, because that's the big thing for me. And in trying to tell the Golden State Cellular story, we have a very fractured media in the motherlode. Have we asked this yet? How many people are from out of town, by the way? How many people are not from our area, motherlode area? You don't live in the Sierra foothills. You don't live in the 5-county area, Alpine, Amador, Calaveras, Tuolumne, or Mariposa counties. So just a few of you. Okay, so for those of you who are from outside the area, we have a very interesting mix up here where our area is populated by generational residents who've been here since the pioneers came over, right? And then we have a group of retirees and equity refugees, right? People who've moved here from some other place with a whole lot of money that they sold and they moved up here. A lot of times they maintain their allegiance to wherever they moved from. I asked him to play that every time I said something witty. That's the first time we've heard it, which is amazing. Anyway, long story short, nobody listens to one radio station. Nobody reads one newspaper. TV, forget it. We got DirecTV, Dish TV, network, cable. There's no one avenue. What I love about social media is it does present the ability to potentially reach a much wider audience. And therefore, even though it's a worldwide media, I think it lends itself well to local and rural. So, thank you very much. I appreciate it.